G'day guys, welcome to another Hang Loose Recluse production. Just stand by as we try and bring you the latest video footage that we could source, and we will show you what's going on, a bit of the chaos that's going on in France as the Western media portrays anybody who is associated in the crowd there as a terrorist. So basically, public people are now considered terrorists in the eyes of the government and in the eyes of the mainstream media. The mainstream media hasn't got the balls to call it for what it is. The mainstream media won't call it for what it is because the mainstream media have no balls. All they have is a bank account that is linked to sponsorships from all the companies that are controlling them. That includes the government, and that includes big pharmacy companies and everything else in between. So the reason why the mainstream media is calling everybody that attends one of these rallies as a terrorist, because this is the new war that we are in. Check this out. As chaos ensues the streets of France, as the politicians scramble, the mainstream media scrambles, it's all one big corporation, it's all one big entity. The controllers of the government are the same controllers that control the media, and they are the government. Now here we have some cars that are being pelted with some sort of projectiles as people, it looks like a scene from the 1600s, only there's cars there, not horses and shields. It looks like an actual battle scene from way back in the day, before these things were even invented, like a Braveheart style scene of Europe. Here we go, there it is, cars on fire, the people are speaking up, the people are speaking. The mainstream media in Australia is obviously going to play it down as everybody that's attending one of these rallies, like I said earlier, is a terrorist, which I heard on the radio yesterday on ABC Radio, or was it 6PR News, which is over here in Perth, Western Australia, 6PR, yes, mainstream media. The news break there. So, look, now watch the police here. Apparently this lady's crippled. Look, watch the way, I repeated this a couple of times, bang! She can hardly walk. She's got a bloke with her and a guy just comes out from nowhere. Is it any wonder that people are not happy with that sort of that attitude? I mean, what the hell is going on in the world, guys? What the hell is going on? Now we'll go back to the video at the start and I'll read it out and what's on the screen. Protests are getting intense. Almost 300,000 people took to the streets of Marseilles at the same time. French farmers also joined the demonstration. In a huge number, they dumped trash in front of government buildings. Most protests have been peaceful, but anger has mounted since Macron pushed the bill without a vote. In the last 7 days, demonstrations continue in Paris and other cities, with rubbish bins set alight. What Paris residents think about the protests, a Paris engineer said, "I'm supporting the strike, even if it will take more time to go to work today." But the government wanted to move on. Macron on Wednesday said, despite escalating anger across the country, the reform would come into force by year end. In response, one of the union leaders said, "The best response we can give the president is that there are millions of people on strike and in the streets." Well, there you go. There you go, people of the world, and there you go, governments of the world. Start listening to your people, because you know who it is who controls you. It's the people who control you, the government. That's right. It's time the government stood up and had to listen to the people, and they need to start listening to people, and instead of just being overbearing and over the top. Anyway, that's just a bit of advice for the government. I guess that's all I can suggest, is just a little bit of a friendly advice, and that is just start listening to the people and stop being overbearing of your very own citizens. Anyway, this has been another Hang Loose Recluse production. Thank you. As half the audience goes, the other half will stay on and watch the rest of the Hang Loose Recluse video, because at around 4 minutes, that's pretty much all people can handle. Most people on YouTube can only handle 1 minute videos. Look at this police accident here. I know I've shown this video before, but I think this is bloody hilarious. Check this out. Bang! Smash! Straight in there. Watch the guy come over with his shovel. He comes over with his shovel to try and defend the police. There he is. He's there to defend them. Well, you'd think he's there to try and defend them. He's got his shovel in his hand. Look, whack! And then one last measure, kick. Yeah, that's it. He gets it. He kicks the car. Yeah, all good. All right, well, this has been another Hang Loose Recluse production, and the reason I say goodbye halfway through the video is because I know not everyone's going to watch all of this, but this is just extra features for the Hang Loose Recluse subscribers and fans out there that want to hear me talk crap. Whack, smack, crack. Look at this. Innocent people just standing against the thing. They're not doing anything wrong. Police just going up and smashing them. Is it any wonder people get upset with what the antics of the police in this situation? I mean, look, the mainstream media doesn't call it out as police violence. The public don't seem to be being too violent there. They just look like normal citizens. How... But the government's labelling all these people as terrorists. They're just there in support of their beliefs and their rights. Meanwhile, the government is stripping away every last right down to the core. And it's happening worldwide at the moment. And people are just letting it happen in other countries where they're turning a blind eye, like Australia. You ask the general Australian on the streets what they think about this, they'll be dead against this. They'll be dead against the people standing up like this because they don't have any idea what it takes for someone physically to be pushed so far that it forces them to get out on this front line to show their friggin' face and show what they feel based on how far they've been pushed by their government. So how far can they keep going, and how much pushing can the government keep pushing before the people will stand up and retaliate against this sort of nonsense from the behaviours of our governments? Our governments need to wake up to themselves and realise that they are elected by the people, for the people, and it's not the other way around. It's always been that way, and people have to start realising it, the people in the power, that they let it go to their head. Classic example is some of the governments of Australia who let the power go to their head based on the last election during a pandemic as it happened, and they got more power. One of those tyrants being the Mark McGowan-led government of Western Australia. Here we go. Obviously, we're not that extreme here in Australia, but to see this actually happening in France, all governments of the world will be taking notice of this. All governments of the world will be taking notice. They'll be all stepping up and taking a look at what is going on here in France, how they dealt with it, and how they can do this better in other countries. And that's what they are going to do. They are going to learn from this and use this against the people, because they will use this against the people. The general public citizen will be stripped of all rights, and you will have no ability to be able to speak up in future generations, because they want to take away your thought to think. They want to take away your ability to think. They want to take away your thoughts so you can't think. Anyways, this old gentleman there gets a bit frustrated there with the police officers as they crawl around this corner. I'll just talk now for the sake of talking to finish up this video for the Hang Loose Recluse fans that want to see more of this stuff. I know this is regurgitated, recycled video footage, but I've got the microphone set up and I just feel like talking as I'm going and watching this. It's like a scene out of a friggin' zombie movie, the zombie apocalypse, and it's sort of like in this country, particularly France, it's like the people versus the government. That's the zombie apocalypse. The zombie is the government, and the people trying to defend themselves from the zombie is the people. That's what it's like. That's what it looks like to me. Anyway, that's just what I think. Anyway, I'll call it quits today, get rid of this video because we've already played this video, and I will get on with the show. You're watching another Hang Loose Recluse production. Thank you.